So I know a guy who's parting out an M6. It's an 08, I believe it's an 08. I bought the rear diff off of him. It only has like 60 something thousand miles on it on the car, but it's from up north, so it's a little bit of rust on it, surface rust. It's 3.62 gear ratio from the M6. He already drained it before he shipped it, so I'm going to put this max gear 75 140. It has the friction modifiers in it already for the limited slip. It's by Royal Purple. I think it was like 22 a piece. It should take 1.5 of these, I believe. So, and as you can see, it's a posi or limited slip. They're both going in the same direction. They're both turning. And you can't stop one. It's still turning. I'll remove the one out of my 650i, repackage it in this same fashion I received it, and try to sell it. Maybe I'll get $100 for it, I don't know, as long as I get something for it. But I paid $400 for this, which is a good deal. $400 shipped from, I think it was North Carolina. Let's go ahead and clean it up, then I'll put it in the car. It's got a little bit of rust on it, so I pressure washed it, and I'm gonna hit it with some rust reform, sort of protect the iron. Here's the original 650i, 2008, rear differential. Let's go ahead and pull the sucker out. So I've already loosened these with an E12 torque, E-Torx. Okay, loosen them now. As far as these, I'm going to remove the hangers for the exhausts, and then I'll put the nuts back on. Just hand tight. Yep. Just a couple turns. Now that you have all the bolts out, I'm going to put a screwdriver here, or some sort of thin pry bar, and it'll pop out. There you have it. There's the axle, drive axle. Same thing on this side. Already pried it. It's ready to come out. Boom. So for the drive shaft bracket, take a 13 millimeter. There it is. Let me put the camera down. It's kind of heavy, so be careful not to let it crash on your face. Right here. drive shaft out for the most part. Now I'll separate this and drop the drive shaft. Okay, here's the rear of the rear. There's a bolt and nut and bolt right here, and you have to get a hold on it. I don't know if you see it from there. So I'll go ahead and there's no room over here, so I'll put a wrench over here. And then a socket over here. I'm gonna leave the bolt in for now until I get a jack under. I gotta get it done. See, I'm moving the wrench and holding back with the socket because it spins, so. It's a 21 millimeter bolt and nut. There's a nut with the washer. Since this is loose, I think it's loose, right? Almost loose. When I get a jack under it, I'll be able to just pop it out. Okay. I need to take the drive shaft all the way off, pop it out. I got it soaking under WD-40, and put a jack underneath here. Pop the 4 bolts out and drop it down. So as you see on the new diff, this is where the drive shaft ties in. It's in this little groove here. So pretty much that should just pop out if I hit it with a hammer. But I think it's giving me a hard time. I'm letting it soak in WD-40, and I'll whack it with a hammer in a minute, see if it comes out. And I'll put this jack with some padding underneath the rear, pop the bolts out, drop it down. And there it is. I just soaked it in WD-40, sprayed WD-40 over here to connect. Waited a few minutes and whacked it a couple of times and it fell down. So now it's time to put a jack underneath the diff, pop the bolts out and drop the diff down. Okay, so I have a piece of wood there, a piece of foam. I'll just jack it up a little bit to small amount of pressure on the rear. I'm going to go ahead and slide the rear bolt out, and then these fronts. Although I think it's going to fall backwards. I might do this. I might take a rope, wrap it around here, so that way these can't separate. So it'll sort of, I'll be able to hold on to it and let it down gently. I think that'll work. Let's try it out. So here's from the back side. Let me see the bolt there. I have a little bit of tension, pressure on the rear, lifting it up a bit, so I could just slide this bolt out of here. Okay, so this is the best I can get. My tripod sucks. So these 2 bolts, what I did, I put a socket on there. I needed to break them loose. It took a good like 4 turns for them to become free. So I just put a wrench on it like this and bust them loose.
and now they're coming out. I don't know if it's threaded in there or they're just riding out on the threads against the bushing, but I have this jacked up to where there's pressure on it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one out all the way. Then the last one will be here because the rear is already out. So when I'm taking this one out, I'll hold on to it. Hopefully it doesn't slide back, but if it does, this is where it's gonna break loose. But you know what? There's not much space behind it, so when it does drop, it's gonna catch on the back. There it is. Both are out. Let's see what happens. Drop it down a little bit and see. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Doesn't get any better than that. Meet the guy that's taking your job. M5. Toodles. One thing to mention about these diffs is a breather hole. So when you have it set to back down like that, it's gonna leak out of the breather hole, which is there. Also, the M5 one has one. The M5 one is right here. So the stock 650i rear has a ratio of 346, and this is 362. This is from the M6 550i. It is a little bit beefier, you can tell. The flanges, the drive shaft input is a little bit bigger. I would say like 8 or 10 millimeters on the M. As far as these, I don't know. Okay, to compare the axles and drive shafts input size to the e63 650i 2008 and the I think it's a 2007 M6 e63. So they're noticeably bigger, but not by much. I'd say like 8 millimeters or something. Get some calipers here. I'm just gonna measure the outside. Should be proportionate, right? So let's see, millimeters. We'll do millimeters. We'll do millimeters. So the e63. E63, I'll do it this way, yeah. E63 input is around 105 millimeters. The M6, this is a rough measurement, of course. M6, 113. Okay. Oh, the axle inputs. 650i is around 111. M6, it's around 123. So, if you're going to swap your rear out, you're going to have to get new drive shafts and axles. Or at least get the M. So it's easy to do this before installation. I already broke it loose. It's a 14 millimeter hex head. You know, broke that loose. It's already been drained. It was drained before they shipped it to me. This plug has an O-ring on it. It looks damn near new, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Like the car actually had low mileage, but it was from up north, so the diff was a little bit rusty. It's just superficial. So I pressure washed it and painted it. So I bought Max Gear 75 140 with friction modifier because it has LSD. You want the friction modifier. That's what I read. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip that. It should take about 1.5 of these. And that up. Transmission's pretty much level. Not the transmission, the rear end, the rear diff. There it is. Okay, so it's full. And I don't mind a little bit of drippage.
Well, I might have something here. I got a dolly. I put the rear on the dolly, and maybe I could slip the jack under there now. Seems a little bit taller than the space there, but I could probably finagle it, roll it into place, and lift it up. See what happens. There it is. It's in place. I just need to snug the bolts up. I'm done.